We're here at Computex 2026 and we have a ton of content to cover. We're talking booth tours, live build streams, first looks at new tech, and of course we get to eat the ramen. But thanks to ASUS for sponsoring this video, we're going to be checking out all the new tech they're unveiling this year, and there's going to be one crazy crossover that you are not going to want to miss. So stick around because it all happens right here, right now on Robeytech. All right, we're kicking things off on the consumer side with the new ASUS Vivobook S14 and 16. Now, some of these are going to look familiar if you followed any of the tech coverage from CES, but new here at Computex, ASUS has updated versions of this laptop series. And there are a ton of options other than just 14 and 16-inch versions. They have options for AMD and Qualcomm Snapdragon chips, but new for Computex, we have Intel's new Wildcat Lake CPUs inside these ones. These laptops are super thin and light with an estimated battery life of over 20 hours, which we'll need to test and see, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the actual case. Now, the Vivobook is a great option for people looking for a lightweight device for day-to-day use, making it an awesome option for students, which, if you're going into college or if you have a kid going to college like I do, these are worth checking out. Next up, we have the Zenbook 14, which is the next tier up in the consumer line here. So you're looking at features like having options for more RAM, updated I/O with USB 4, 3 different color choices, and a lid made from ASUS's specialty Ceraluminum alloy. I'm also told that this new Zenbook has ASUS's Easy Lift lid, so let's see if it passes the one-finger lift test. And guys, it has OLED. Now, as for the hardware inside, the Zenbook 14 comes with your choice of CPUs from AMD, Intel, and Qualcomm. But what's great about the Zenbook 14 is that these laptops are running all of these processors at full TDP, which means you're going to get more performance out of each one of them. So this is a great productivity laptop with a longer battery life and some nice appointments. But again, these are great options for college students and for people who are working on the go. Okay, next up we have something that is a really interesting piece that we needed to check out before we pop over to ASUS ROG. We have the ASUS TUF T700 desktop. So last year, ASUS showed off the TUF Gaming T500, which essentially took a mobile CPU, strapped a massive heatsink on it, overclocked it, and sent it into the wild. It was a pretty crazy idea, but ASUS is expanding on the idea with the TUF Gaming T700. What's actually really cool about the T700 is that there are versions with either AMD CPUs up to the Ryzen 7 8700F or an Intel CPU up to the Core Ultra 9 275HX. As for GPUs, the T700 will either have an RX 9070 XT or an RTX 5070. I think for me though, the most exciting part is that ASUS is making this thing user upgradable. So if you got this as a base system, there are parts you could upgrade down the road. Now that we've seen the consumer side, let's pop over to the Republic of Gamers to see what's new with ROG. It's actually a really exciting time to be hanging out with ASUS because this year marks the 20th anniversary of ASUS ROG, and there are tons of products ASUS unveiled to celebrate. And one of the anniversary products we got to see was the ASUS ROG 20th Anniversary G1000 Desktop Edition 20. Now, we saw the system introduced at CES back in January, but there is a lot going on with this pre-built PC. It has ASUS's anime holographic fans to add some extra character or characters to your rig. It's got crazy powerful components and a tri-zone cooling design that separates airflow into 3 zones for PSU, CPU, and GPU. But this thing is dripped out in 20th anniversary, including a gold and black design, and from what we're hearing, there will be a limited number of systems available worldwide. So if you want to get one, get it as soon as it comes out. So basically, if you're a super ROG fan, this PC is likely going to be your jam. And speaking of things that are definitely my jam, this is the new special edition ROG Ally X20. Now, if you followed the channel, you know that the ROG Xbox Ally X has been one of our favorite handhelds at Robeytech. But this thing, it's just freaking magical. For starters, the 7-inch LCD, which we saw in the original Ally, has now been updated to a 7.74-inch OLED, which looks stunning. And as crazy as it sounds, that slight increase in size is actually a game changer. Also, the Xbox button now lights up, the new TMR thumbsticks feel amazing, and that's only half of the story, because this is the anniversary edition. The Ally X20 is also bundled with ASUS ROG's XReal R1 Edition 20, which is one of my favorite ways to use a handheld. I mean, who doesn't want a game on a 171-inch virtual screen? But I'll be honest, with how pretty the screen is, it's hard to choose how to use this handheld. Next up, we have a refresh of one of the laptops we actually brought with us to Computex last year, the ROG Strix SCAR-18, and I'll be honest, I almost brought it this year too. This is still the ROG flagship laptop, and ASUS has done some things to bring the Strix SCAR-18 into 2026, like upgrading the new CPU to the new Intel Core Ultra 9 290HX+. This mobile CPU is capable of 200 watts of sustained power, which is crazy for a laptop. It's also totally not surprising for a desktop replacement with a 5090 mobile. Now, one of the big changes between last year's model and this is the upgraded ROG Nebula ELMB Mini LED display. This is a 4K display, while last year's was actually QHD+, and it's still a 240Hz mini LED, but it has a max brightness that's around 30% higher than last year's model. I'm still partial to QHD+ and OLEDs on laptops, but I can't knock how good this actually looks. Now, one of the cool things that I am so glad ASUS kept in the 2026 model is the Q-Latch design that gives you access to upgrade the RAM and the storage. This is a game changer for ease of upgradability. So these are the fans. So this is the fan for the 2026 versus the 2025. And you can just see just the thickness and beefy difference in the cooling for the fans, which is also insane. And then the other thing too here, when you look at this, oops, flip it around. It's like a Lego piece, is look at just the size of the vapor chamber, right? Comparatively to 2025 to 2026, right? So a significant just jump in the overall size of the vapor chamber itself. Basically, the Strix SCAR-18 is the laptop for the user who wants both portability and power.
And finally, you may have heard that a new player has entered the CPU arena. NVIDIA unveiled their new RTX SPARK, a super chip featuring NVIDIA's ARM-based Grace CPU and Blackwell RTX GPU.
Obviously, with this being an ASUS video, we have one of the new devices featuring the NVIDIA RTX SPARK from the ProArt line, the P14 and P16, in Neo White and Nano Black.
These things are beautiful. They're thin, they're lightweight, the touchpad feels super nice, and the ASUS Lumia Pro OLED is just amazing. We've used it before, and I love how this looks. Now, this is a really interesting starting point, and I think that ASUS is being smart with this because ProArt is ASUS's creator-focused family, which is one of the areas NVIDIA is definitely positioning the RTX SPARK. But from the demos we got to see here at Computex, there's a whole lot more that these laptops are capable of, including some applications for agentic AI and gaming, believe it or not. I won't go on too big of a tangent here, but we could see gaming on ARM become a viable option with the full weight of NVIDIA supporting game development for this platform. But we'll know more when we get our hands on these devices later this year.
And there you have it. These are just a few of the things ASUS is cooking up here at Computex 2026. But as always, we want to know what you think. What do you think about having multiple CPU options for different laptop models? What about those crazy anime holo fans? And what would you put on them? And if you've been along the ROG journey at some point in these past 20 years, what was your actual favorite piece of gear? Let us know all that down in the comments below. And if you like this video, do all of the YouTube things and follow us on your favorite socials at Robeytech for more coverage from Computex 2026. As we wrap this up, we want to say a huge thank you to ASUS for sponsoring our trip out here, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.